All right, this is 116C, Algebra 2, still dealing with our probabilities, and we're going to jump into what are called independent events. And it says, we say that events do not affect one another, or that do not affect each other, are called independent events. Meaning, if I had a coin, and I flipped it, and I got a tail, and I took that coin again and flipped it again, that second flip has absolutely nothing to do with the first one, and the first one has nothing to do with the second one. I'm not going to possibly get a tail on the second flip because I got a tail on the first flip. They don't have anything to do with each other. They're both completely separate events that are not dependent on one another. That means they're called independent events. So, for example, if Kristen took a quarter out of her pocket and she flipped it, at the same time Hunter flipped his quarter, neither one of those flips are dependent on each other. Just because Kristen flipped hers and got ahead does not mean that Hunter is like, oh dang, I can't get ahead now, I have to get a tail. No, he can get up ahead just like Kristen did. It does not affect the outcome of Hunter's flip just because Kristen got something. Okay, so they are independent events. The probability of independent events occurring in a designated order is the product of the probabilities of the individual events. All right, so let's look at what that means. All right, so Hunter has his quarter, and he tosses that quarter the first time. All right, what are the possible options, a head or a tail? He has two different possibilities. Okay. What is the probability, or how many, it says here, what is the probability that comes up heads every time? Well, the top number is the number of outcomes that are that are ahead. So how many possible outcomes are going to be ahead? Only one. There's a head and a tail, but one of those is ahead. All right, he flips the coin again. And how many options does he have? Two. What does he want? He wants a head only. He does it again, a 2 and a 1. So he flips them twice. And he has a 50-50 chance of getting ahead, 50-50 chance of getting ahead, 50-50 chance of getting ahead. So to get ahead on all three of these, you just multiply. So he has a 1 in 8 chance of getting a head on all three flips. Now, when I taught this back, I still remember, gosh, it must have been about 1996. I was teaching this lesson, and I was showing the probability of how impossible it was to flip a coin or something, multiple times and getting the same, like getting heads. And I had a kid come up, and I gave him a coin, and I said, okay, Eric, I want you to flip this coin 10 times. And if you get a head all 10 times, I will give you this $20 bill. And so he flipped that coin all 10 times. It ended up a head, and I had to give him $20. That was the first time I ever did that experiment, and I'm not stupid. It was also the last time I did that because I was not going to take the chance of losing $20 again. All right, so let's look top of page 474, example 116.8, and then we'll be done. A fair coin is tossed 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times. All right, so I know that, let's see what else it says. What is the probability it will come up heads on the next toss? Okay, so we have 4 times. All right, so when we tossed it here, we had 1 in 2 chance of it coming up heads, and it came up heads, right? The second time, 1 in 2 chance, and it came up heads. Third. Fourth. What is the chance, or what is the probability that it will come up heads again? Okay, it's kind of a tricky question. does this one coming up heads have anything to do with these? Absolutely not. It's as if you're flipping it over again for the first time. It does not have anything to do with these flips over here. So what are the chances on this flip here that you're going to get ahead? It's 50-50, right? One chance out of two, and that's it. I mean, it's nothing hard. There's no rocket science done here or anything. That's just all there is to it. Okay, so that's it for lesson 116, and I think 117 will be a lot shorter rather than 3 long videos. So anyway, 116C is done.